What are you doing, Frank?
What?
What are you doing?
Pizza!
Oh, come on, where's the fucking song that goes with it? Oh.
What?
Where's the song that goes with it?
Oh. Do I did a pocket full of dough on and near. You got a beer. Fuck. Now out here in the camp, you got your flour, that's crushed up roots. You've got to get the right root. The actual root that it is called, it comes from a tree called tiger tree. You take the roots off, you crush it, you put it in a bag, find an empty box that you've got somewhere, put it in there for about 24 hours, you've got your flour. Then you get your dough, you mix it, you want some milk, you've got to go find a goat. You can do this anywhere you are. If you can't find a goat, find a tree, get some milk sap out of the tree. You want some yeast, bad luck. You don't need it with this type of dough. Let it cure for an hour, roll it out, and you got your pizza. Now all I need is some toppings. So I'm going with my rifle in a minute to get a pig for some bacon to go on top. Some bush tomatoes. What else? I've got some olives over there that were in the tree out the back there. If you haven't got olives, doesn't matter. There's some poison berries over there, they're fine. If they don't work, well, anyway, I've got to go shoot this pig. I'll see you later. Cut.
You're on camera.
What's that? Fresh chilli. Oh, fucking lovely.
Now I've just been out and got some bush tomatoes.
Oops.
I don't know who was here a long time ago, but I found this bottle out in the bush, so I've crushed them up and put them in the bottle. So now we place the tomato base on our dough, which we've made out of tiger tree. You've got to watch what you do here. You go right to the edge if you can, a few drops, because I mean they are bush tomatoes, so they don't taste as good as the other ones. But I've put a few herbs that I've found on the ground in there. Just a bit of thyme, a bit of parsley, and I've got all that done. So now we grab a spoon. We won't use that one because someone's had onions on it. So we'll go over here. We've got a collection of assorted Aboriginal artefacts that we found around the place. So we'll just use them. This is what they used in their days. And obviously they didn't use this one for what I'm doing, so we'll just get another one. There we go. Now that's what they used to use. The Aboriginals used to use these things for this type of cooking. The women would sit there all day with a rock, carve it out, and I mean that may look like a handle, but that's actually a piece of granite, yeah, that the women have got, and they've carved it out. I knew the name, but it just slipped my mind at the moment. So we get the bush tomato, place it on. Now if you haven't got any paper like I've got a bit of paper here.
Looks like bark to me.
And yeah, you just get a tree and get a bit of fencing wire if you can find some, and just run it down nice and thin, and you end up with material like that. So okay, we've got our bush tomatoes on there. Now we start off with a bit of cheese. Now,
Where did you get that from, you kid?
when you get the goat's milk to put in with your flour, take a bit extra, put it in a tin. It's not here at the moment, but you put it in a tin, make a churn, just sit there and just round until it forms the cheese. I found that bag floating up there that someone left behind, so I've placed the cheese in that bag. So then on goes the cheese, spread it out, you know. You don't want a lot of topping on it, cheese. Some people like a lot of cheese on their pizzas, but out here this cheese, goat's cheese, is very strong. So you gotta don't go overboard with your cheese, you know. Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Then we've laid our piece base. Now we start off with some bush onion. Everybody eat onion? Bush onion, here we go. So we've got our onion. This bit of here, you
Goat's
find
balls.
that just behind the pig's tail. If you go up there, there's a string of meat there that's very tender, and you take that off. Actually, these days they call it cabana, but in the olden days it was actually off a pig, the part from the back of the pig, just under the tail. So we just take a few pieces of that, spread them around, like so.
I think they used to call them anal glands, Frank.
Oh, anal glands, yeah, that's the name, yeah. Now here, that's the pig's tongue. So you just throw, you know, a few pieces on there like that, because, you know, really speaking, your tongue's not a great necessity, but it helps. Okay. Now this one here, this is the pig's liver. If you bleed it properly, it turns orange. As you can see, there's no blood in that, and it actually tastes a bit like capsicum. So you know, a bit of the old liver on there. So you know, I mean, it's a way of cooking in the bush. You shouldn't starve at all. There's plenty out there. Now, if you can't catch a pig, of course, you could always find a rabbit and do the same thing. They all have the same ingredients, although the milk, yeah, I mean, the goat's milk's pretty good if you can get a goat. But if you can't, and there's a sheep or something like that, you know, no worries. Or, as I said earlier, you can get the tree, break the sap, and the milk that comes out of that, you can use that. I'll just cover this stuff up here, just so the pigs don't wander through the camp and take that. So there we go. We've now
Got your ham.
we've got ham that I caught in the pig. I wrapped that up in this bag of paper because, you know, ham's a funny thing. You don't want it left in the sunlight because it can go off very quickly. So if you can find a bit of paper like this around, if not, fence and wire, down the tree, bit of bark, and you make that. Now that's the liner of the pig's stomach. You can take that off, you peel that off, and it makes a lovely bag, nice and strong. Okay, so now I slice this pig up. That's just off the rump of the pig.
I thought you got me to cut it up.
Yeah, Bob done that for us, and he's done a marvellous job because fair dinkum, that is superb. There is other stuff that you can add, but you just got to be careful. Sometimes you can add too much. This one here, same spoon, just a little hint of wild chutney, this one's called. This grows wild. You just crush it up, you can still see the seeds and that in it. Emus love it. So if you see emus, you'll always find this because they'll hang around and absolutely
Plenty.
you'll have it. So,
Okay.
so now we've dug our hole. We've follow me over to the oven, camp style oven. See, the paper off the bark tree is very strong. So it's very strong, this paper, bark tree paper. Over to the fire. Now always be careful if you've got thongs on, because you've got coals in there. I mean, I've been doing this for years, so, but sometimes you can slip and burn your toes. Straight into the pizza oven like that. Get a lid. Place it on the oven. If you haven't got a lid, you can actually cover it with bark. I mean, trees are a really good necessity out in the bush. You can actually make a full pizza really from a tree and a pig. A few coals on top. With these camp ovens, the heat generates down, so with a pizza, a few coals on top, like that. And we'll come back in 15 minutes and enjoy.
Hang on. Memory card. Oh, right. Go.
Righto, so now it's been 9 minutes. Normally it only takes around the 10-minute mark, so now I'm going to check it. So we get a bit of wire, work out which way the wind's blowing, because when you lift the coals off, you don't want the coals to blow back over your fire. This here made out of a bit of fencing wire, made that, found a few nuts and bolts around the place, made up a rack. So a lot of people will pick it up, put it on the ground. And once you do that, then you've got to wash the lid. So that's a little secret to remember.
I don't think it's recording, Steve.
So now we take the wire rack off, the lid off. The wind's coming this way, straight back over there.
Let's wash the lid then.
And if you don't have to wash the lid, on the wire rack, coal's still on top, ready for the next one. If you'd like to come closer, have a look at the end result. As you can see, that bark doesn't burn. It's a special type of bark. As I say, it comes off a tiger tree. Doesn't burn. So now we grab the bark. We raise it out of the oven. Take it over to the paper.
Don't even work.
Then we'll go over and get a special.
Whose camera's this?
Get ourselves one of these Aboriginal tools. They used to get these, the women used to carve this out of stone, make it round, then they put a granite handle on it, and actually they used to use these, the Aboriginals used to use this there, the women used that there so that they could go along and cut the bark off and cut it in strips, the same as what I've done there. But we're going to use it for a pizza cutter, straight in, straight across, bit around, straight across, straight across. Look at that. I mean, marvellous people them.
So it's just going.
And there it is, your pizza. All done. Thank you very much.
Thank your mother for the rabbits.
Now we'll try the pizza just to make sure. The bottom isn't quite cooked, but I did take it out 9 minutes. Normally I give it 10.
There. Yeah, there.
What do you think?
Beautiful, mate.
Fucking good, aren't they?
Thank you for that.
All right, mate.